Hello, good evening. This is Game On with Femi and the Gang on Nigeria Info. I'm sure at this stage you already know that in the presentation sector, you're free to call us the director as we connect you to excitement like a vector, bring you the highs and lows like a gear selector, or even more higher ranking than a polytechnic rector. That's why we give you the larger picture like a projector, acting as efficiently as an engine that uses an injector and shining bright even at night like a reflector. We're ready for 2 hours, 30 minutes, for tonight. And there's so much on the cards. First off, we'll look back at the action from the Nigeria Premier Football League. The title race is heating up. Remote Stars, Rivers United, Abia Warriors battling for the ultimate prize. In the Premier League in England, Arsenal have given Liverpool a leeway to get closer to the title than ever before. We'll be asking ourselves some pertinent questions as to which teams have the best chance to be in those positions from 3rd to 5th and qualify for the UEFA Champions League, looking at the struggles of Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Manchester United are low. Let me see you, low. You know. But yeah, we'll have that conversation. Also, the title race in Spain is heating up. Carlo Ancelotti seeing Barca 4 points ahead of his Real Madrid team. And now we have an idea when El Clasico Part 2 for the La Liga will take place. I'm just thinking to myself, should Ancelotti remain boss of Real Madrid at the end of this season? We'll get your thoughts on that too. And have an exclusive interview with a Nigerian athletics legend, Deji Aliyu, who'll be letting us in on what can be done to get things right for us in athletics, knowing that we went to the last Olympic Games last year and came back with nothing. There's one play money also available for you too. *347 *880 *3#. The code you can use to play. That's *347 *880 *3#. Or you can check out the website www.oneplay.ng. I'll give that one more time. It's oneplay.ng. The website is going to cost you only 500 naira for each entry of yours. And that 500 naira could be enough to make you one of our lucky winners to get 40,000 naira each on the show tonight. Good luck to you in advance. And when you play, I beg, be very close to your phone, because we'll be putting those calls across during the course of the presentation. No more cause to talk. Let's get into action now, shall we? Best time to say hi to my G, sporting a Manchester United jersey. To think he's still proud enough to wear this on the streets of Lagos baffles me. Over Diesel. What's up, bro?
You see, my parents have been married for 43 years.
Fantastic.
And I'll tell you that during that period of time, they've had their highs and lows. They've had misunderstandings. You know, I've seen them quarrel. I've seen them settle. I've seen them, go through very, very difficult moments together. Yeah. It's the same when you support a football club. Myself and Manchester United, we started the journey in 1999.
Nice.
2025, we're still here. Wow. Moving through the thick and thin. I remember during the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, that was the glory days. But Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013, and since then, Man United have not won the Premier League. So if I decide to continue to support them, I think it's for better, for worse. I mean, that just shows the lady out there that I'm going to marry that, look, we might have our misunderstandings. Nice. We'll have our difficulties. But I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to, dump you for another club. I know people over the years who have left Real Madrid for Barcelona, or left Manchester United for Manchester, or left Arsenal for Liverpool. But I'm not like that. I stay true to my club, just like my woman, through thick and thin. And that's why whatever she does to me, whether in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, she will always be my first choice, like Andre Onana. I will not let her go, definitely. Wow. And that's why, Manchester United and I, we have a synergy. Right from the days of Andy Cole, David Beckham, Dwight York, Paul Scholes. Till now, the new generation, Ziggy Fernandez. I'm going to be with them. And I will never leave Man United. Even if they go to the championship, I'll still be proud of them. That's how I welcome myself to Game On. Ladies and gentlemen, over Diesel, the faithful one, right here. On the broadcast.
This is where they say, bro, no, they shall lie. And it's not about you. It's Manchester United that's causing you to have all these things. It's not about you.
When Pep Guardiola was shalaye, he was explaining. See, people that are used to success. Whenever they experience difficulty, they like explaining. You understand?
Because it's unusual for them, kind of, right?
Exactly. So they just want to tell people where they stand in the thick of things, knowing that better days are ahead. Bam. I know the man seated opposite me is just looking at me like, what's this guy saying?
He is from an opposition party, and hopefully he doesn't.
I wish them well. I wish they. See, I was hoping that they will win the Premier League, but for some reason
they let themselves down a bit.
I mean,
let's not let him down. Let's not let him down. microphone. Making a return for the first time after several weeks. We are delighted, elated, excited, even if it's belated. To have this guy who, with me, we are related, really. Going back to 2012 in Port Harcourt. Overdose, they formed 1999. I'm Man U fan till now, 2025. We're still together.
Yeah.
I met this guy for the first time in Port Harcourt. Okay.
He wanted to go. I said, no, he should not go.
It was in December. Yeah. 2012. Give it up for Mike Bamino, who joins the broadcast tonight. What's up, Oscar?
I didn't hear some weekend, this guy.
No, I didn't know. He's a friend of mine, Philip, that talks like this, so I'm just acting like Philip. Yeah.
Former is a good
Good
guy.
evening, Lagos and beyond. It's good to be here after almost. I'm not sure I've been on the broadcast in 2025.
No, this is your first time.
You like you never did.
So it's been a long hiatus. How do they pronounce that word again? But it's not surprising seeing Overdose, talk about being faithful, even though he forgets that I have his codes.
Which codes?
There's a word they usually use, but I don't want to use that on family.
Coded tunes.
No.
I have your. So I don't know what you were talking about, but I can understand. For those of us who are Arsenal fans, we have been faithful, even in the disappointments, even in the going 21 years without winning the league title, even in the over 100 years history of never winning the Champions League. But we love the Arsenal, the greatest club in London. We don't care. We don't care what any other person says. We are the greatest club in London. We love the club so much. And but it's good to be here once again. And like I said off the microphone, Choma, I'm making that commitment to at least try and be on the broadcast twice every week. It dawned on me that Tuesday and Wednesday is Champions League, so it's going to be live football. So so that's why, even though I was supposed to be doing something in the newsroom, I just left it. Say, let me come spend the next 1 hour 30 minutes or thereabouts.
So no, you're staying here till 9.
I'm a maga, can't you? Serious, I can't.
You know what our politicians do, really? They have certain words and how they say them. So I will say something like, I must commend you for your untiring efforts.
You have done the politician
in adding to the quota of Femi and the gang. I want to assure you that no stone will be left unturned in our desire to always welcome you into the studio, Fama. Thank you so much.
We have moved around with these politicians. Yeah, you're quoting their words one after the other.
Those words as in our regular words. And this guy who is in the studio right now too can use those words, but he's more of a guy who's fresh and dapper. And so he prefers to use it as a rapper. Give it up for Brownish right now. What's up, bro? Good to see you, man.
I put my hands together to you because I'm a clapper.
Shima has influenced all of you. People have done something.
Ufoma, this guy has gone to London, the one in UK and the one in Osapa.
I've also gone to my village where I became a trapper. Anyway, but not no shades, but like when Mr. Fema was talking about, he's been through all of that with Arsenal. He didn't mention the 248 days on top the league table. He's saying that that's the day I will resign as an Arsenal fan. I not do it again.
No, but on a more serious note, you guys always bring that up, and I get it. It's banter. It's great to, of course, say these things, but let's go back to that season 2 seasons ago. There's nobody sitting here, and I'm sure there are very little people listening, the millions of people listening to Nigeria Info, who at the start of that season even talked about Arsenal in a top 4 conversation, never mind the fact that they were going to even be on top of the table that long time. It was more or less a situation where we moved ahead of time, ahead of schedule. But yes, I'm not disputing the fact that when you get to that position, the onus is also on you to be able to grind it out. Unfortunately, we didn't have the squad to be able to do that, because as soon as William Saliba got injured, I think it was in February, that season was all but done. We only had, what's the name of the young man now? I've forgotten his name. Who Erling Haaland was just tossing around in April of that year when they beat us 3-1. Was it 4-1 that they beat us?
And to be fair, City were just absolutely rampant that season.
Let's also not forget that
how to close out seasons.
Those guys over the last 4 seasons, not this season though,
have been unplayable.
They've been literally unplayable. So give it up. I think it was Overdose I was telling earlier today, or some, I can't remember who I was telling that. One of the great things Liverpool fans should be celebrating this season is the fact that there's almost nobody chasing them. Because Liverpool have actually not been great in the second half of the season. If we had the kind of Man City that we had over the last 4 years chasing this Liverpool team, I'm sure they would have cracked.
I get your point, really, because even the stats, they lost just one game until December. And from January till this time, they've lost 6 matches across different competitions. So you're on point as to Liverpool.
That could be the equivalent of 2 games per month.
Right, by the high standards.
By the high standards.
Season, really. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty straight away. We're streaming live on Facebook here at Nigeria Info Space 99.3. I can also see your comments already pouring in via that platform. And what a way to start the show by just reading a few of those thoughts of yours. Steven says, overdose, trying to advertise himself. Okay. Vincent Ari Dion says, well done. Ayomi Day Dawn says, good evening to everyone in the studio. Vincent also goes on to say, it's the first time I'm seeing Chuma and overdose live. Oh, wow. Ambulance. Thank you, man. Saidi Do says, nice program. And somebody is coming for man now.
What did I do
It's
again?
Vincent who says, the guest calls you guest. You see, as you don't miss from this show, so they call you guest now. The guest to Format's voice is younger than his appearance.
I get that a lot. But it's all good.
Okay, so let's start from somewhere on the show tonight. As I remind you again that we still don't have one play money, of course. Before we're done with the presentation by 10 p.m., there will be 40,000 naira coming to several persons like yourself. Star 347, star 880, star 3 hash remains the code you can use to play one play. That's star 347, star 880, star 3 hash. Or you can check out the website www.oneplay.ng. That's oneplay.ng. Let's start with, shall we? Liverpool had a chance to get even closer to the title than ever before, having seen their rivals Arsenal drop points on Saturday. It looks like Arne Slot eventually and finally is now dreaming of that ultimate prize.
Scoring a goal in the final stages of the game and then still 7 minutes to go. So I like referees who give a lot of extra time, especially if the other team did a lot of time wasting. But we did not do this for 1 second, and there was 7 minutes extra. So boys had to fight very hard, and I tried, like the fans, everything I could do to fire them up from the side. And we survived because they had a header on the bar in extra time.
Yeah, Liverpool working so hard and having Virgil van Dijk step up for them to give them a goal that was very crucial as they got a 2-1 success against West Ham United to go 13 points clear on top of the Premier League table. What that means is 2 more victories for them and they will be champions without any iota of doubt. And that's worst case scenario if Arsenal don't drop points anymore. If they're gonna somehow drop points, Liverpool can be champions earlier than their next 2 matches. All right. Chelsea Ipswich Town ended 2-2. The Blues had to come from 2-0 down to get parity in that, and their dropping points has added to the twist around the top 4 places. In fact, right now we're talking about top 5 places because of the fact that Premier League has the privilege of getting 1 more slot as a result of the brilliance of Premier League teams in Europe this season. Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Tottenham Hotspur by 4-2. I don't know what's up with Ange Postecoglou. I think the only glue attaching him to that team now is the fact that they still are in the Europa League. If they get knocked out of that competition, I just have the feeling the story will be over for them. And since after this side lost to this team in the Carabao Cup final 2 years ago, they have gone on to beat this side 5 times in 6 meetings. And it's the first time since the 1930-31 season that Newcastle United have gotten a double against Overdoses Manchester United. They won that by 4-1, even in the absence of their coach Eddie Howe, who was in hospital watching the game. Newcastle still decimated Manchester United in convincing fashion. Arsenal won, Brentford won. Another result for you that came through from Saturday. More results from Saturday. Aston Villa still riding on the crest of a wave. They beat Southampton away from home by 3-0. It was Wolverhampton Wanderers who certainly had their own game, but would have had an eye on Nottingham Forest, who were playing Nottingham, losing to Everton by 1-0, and opening up again that conversation of teams that want to sneak into the top 5 and qualify for the Champions League next season. Brighton, Leicester City played out a 2-2 draw, and we saw Crystal Palace losing to Man City by 5-2. Our first talking point on the show tonight will be on this race for the top 5. As I say hi to Adeze Michael, who's also here in the studio. What's up, Adeze? Welcome.
Hi, good evening, Shuma. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Lagos.
Yeah.
We're here.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, we're here, and we are here at the right time, really. You're also here at the right time for this top 5 conversation. So, for a while, people kept saying Nottingham, nothing will harm their ambitions. They're going to certainly be at the end of the day in the top 5 and top 4 initially, then qualify for the UEFA Champions League. But see where we are. So I need to take off my glasses just so we can do this together. 57 points for Nottingham Forest from 32 games. We have 6 more games. That's 18 more points to battle for. Newcastle have come closer. Newcastle are 4th. They have 56 points. Newcastle still do have a game in hand. If they win that game against Crystal Palace on Wednesday, they will usurp Nottingham Forest and go 3rd. Manchester City, who are 5th, are now only 2 points behind Nottingham Forest. And there's Chelsea, who are 6th, who have 54 points like Aston Villa, and these sides are only 3 points behind Nottingham Forest. All of a sudden, something can harm the Forest of a team that have done very well across board with the brilliance of Wood, who scored many goals for them. That's always going to be the combination, Wood from a Forest, I can imagine, for Nottingham. On a more serious note though, when we return from this commercial break, we'll sink our teeth into this and ask ourselves eventually which 3 teams will sneak into that top 5 and qualify for the Champions League amongst these 5 who are in contention. Liverpool and Arsenal are safe to a certain level. Liverpool are going to be champions almost certainly. Arsenal more likely than not to finish 2nd. Now it's between Nottingham, Newcastle, Man City, Chelsea, Aston Villa from 3rd to 7th. There's just a 3-point disparity between these sides. How much clarity will we get before the end of the season? You can start dropping your comments via the WhatsApp portal. I'll be reading those. Also on Facebook, Nigeria Info. Space 99.3. And also on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. We're streaming live there. You can drop your comments. We'll be taking those comments of yours in a bit. I think Overdose can lay a foundation to this conversation. Diesel, 3 points only between 3rd and 7th.
Yeah.
Make up your mind. Yes, sir. On which 3 teams eventually you think will be 3rd to 5th and qualify for the Champions League and join Arsenal and Liverpool in that competition next year?
Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea.
You know, hard for you to think.
Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea.
You've knocked off Nottingham Forest, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nottingham Forest will be knocked off. Man City,
Brownie, you look
Chelsea. Yeah.
Brownie just they look you as in. Brownie, what's in your mind?
Man City,
at least for 30 seconds before the commercial break.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing, right? So it's funny because I wanted to give a rebuttal to what he said. The problem is, this is the business end of the season. If there's one thing that these 3 teams have in common, is that they have a culture of knowing that at the business end of the season you don't drop points. We saw it with City at Crystal Palace. We saw it with Chelsea when they came back, even though they were unable to do what City did. And we saw it with Newcastle against Manchester United again. The one team within these 4, which when you include Nottingham Forest, who lost and then lost to weaker opposition, was Nottingham Forest. So you can't necessarily at home. So you can't and this is an Everton side that they were fighting relegation earlier this season.
More years on, they get more years now.
So you can't necessarily even attack what he said. But when we come back, we'll try and dissect it.
Thank you for laying the foundation. We'll build the structure on that one. Let us know which 3 teams you think will eventually finish 3rd to 5th and qualify for the Champions League. We'll be back after now.
A bank do for you. Meet Jane, 25 years old. She's been having troubles acquiring a loan from her bank.
This is not okay at all. I've been on this queue forever, and you're saying I should fill another form. What's going on?
What can your bank do for you? Meet Frank, 27 years old, held up in traffic and making fruitless transactions.
Mama, I have sent the airtime, even the electricity charges. I don't know why it's so difficult making this payment.
Introducing Safri, a lifestyle digital bank that's designed just for you. With one click, you can make easy and fast payment transactions, pay bills, and even acquire easy loans. Hurry and download the Safri app on your Play Store and visit safrisafri.com for more information. Safri, borderless banking.
Is that Alfie playing football in the rain?
It's Toby Chio.
My goodness. When did he grow up? That's it with kids, though.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Life is always full of wahala, but there is music, passion, feelings, and good vibes. Take a ride with InDrive app to get there on your own terms. You decide what your life will be full of and choose a fair price for this ride. InDrive, the InDrive online passenger transportation aggregator, is not a taxi service. Find more information at www.indrive.com.
What is the square root of pi by 4?
4.0.
Wow, that's my girl. The Cowbellpedia Mega Minds is here. Don't miss a single moment of the action in the Cowbellpedia Mega Minds 2025 edition.
Over the 14 weeks, viewers also stand a chance to win prizes when they participate from home.
Tune in to Cowbellpedia Mega Minds on Africa Magic or visit our website at cowbellpedia.tv to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Cowbell. So good, so smart.
My ions, please, can't get enough. My ions, please, give it to me now, now. It gon' rehydrate you, yeah. Replenish your ions with Pocari Sweat. Rehydrate you faster, easily observe. Pocari Sweat, give me some more. Pocari Sweat.
Mr. As my guy don't win, me say don't ginger. No dollar. With the jolly just come welcome offer. Download BetKing app and register today using the promo code FreeBets to enjoy your 100 naira instant sign-up bonus and other exciting offers. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18 years. Play responsibly.
Na so I dey on my own. Na a message enter my phone. Fiam. I can't click am. Fiam. Na so my money for account go. Fiam. Hey, if to say na Airtel you dey use, them for first alert you before you click am. Airtel dey identify spammers, then alert them customers with AI powered service to make sure say you no fall mugu for wuruwuru scam messages. No charges, no subscription needed. Me sef dey go join Airtel. Fiam.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
The people of Israel welcome its king, his followers ready for revolution.
Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees! Rome will descend on us all!
Rebellion is in the air, but Jesus turns the tables.
My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of thieves!
The Chosen Season 5, Last Supper, showing in cinemas this April. Follow at The Chosen TV NG on Instagram and visit thechosentvng.com for exclusive updates.
Make I ask you the last question. Among the options where I go give you, choose the one where they give better gaming experience where person no fit forget. A, to use your data they watch match early momo. B, they listen to your uncle where be your bungest sports guru. C, Betano. The correct answer now, Betano. Don't go tell yourself, if you join the that betting platform for inside Nigeria, where get different betting options, fast cash out, missions where they engage, betting data features, and we go welcome you with bonus of 200,000 naira. Betano, the game don't start.
Nigeria Info. Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's game on.
The biggest stories around the world.
3,298 inmates on death row in Nigeria prisons.
All in one platform.
Plans are underway to evacuate Nigerians in Sudan.
Let's talk sport.
Let's talk information, news, and current affairs.
It recommends that INEC should not be a defendant when we have election petitions.
Together, we'll have a great conversation and more.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Yeah, we're still talking. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info, and I'm extra excited, really. And it just happens to me sometimes. I'm not too sure what the magic is. Maybe there's money waiting for me at the end of this presentation, just maybe, or maybe it's the presence of overdose too. Okay, yes. So nothing. Back by me now. This is what they call crossbreeding.
I'm telling you, cross-examination.
Yeah, welcome back to the Game On Show. We have Femi and the gang certainly having fun right here. Just before the commercial break, we were speaking about the teams in contention for a top 5 place in the Premier League. While Liverpool and Arsenal have some assurance for themselves they will be in the Champions League next season, courtesy of where they will finish on the log. The battle now is between the teams that are 3rd and 7th. These are teams like Nottingham Forest, Newcastle United, Manchester City, Chelsea, and Aston Villa. There's just a 3-point disparity between these sides. And hey, it's important we have this discussion, as Overdose tells me, Chuma, see Semenyo. We're watching highlights of some of the Premier League games from the weekend here in the studio too. Is it? Okay, yeah. But we're watching highlights earlier. So yes, sir.
Yeah. Bournemouth have got the first goal against Fulham. It's not even up to 2 minutes, and Antoine Semenyo is the man that has broken the deadlock. It was against a run of play, turning defense into attack, and Semenyo was given the ball. I don't know the Bomber player, but he was given the ball, and then he just went all the way and just put it past that man talking about Bed Leno. So
why they play for us now?
Bournemouth are leading Fulham inside the first 2 minutes. Yeah.
It was Scott
to Semenyo.
To Semenyo. And Semenyo is so funny that Semenyo's weaker foot is his left foot. And it looked like a very weak shot, but Ben Leno didn't go down quickly enough. And that's just the problem, with football sometimes. From back to front in less than 5 minutes, in less than 2 minutes, and you're already in behind. Consistent mistakes. I think Anthony Robinson also had a problem. Semenyo nipping it off of him when he was a bit unbalanced. The players, the defenders in the back line were all spread so wide apart that nobody could cover for each other. The moment one person made a mistake, it was absolutely hilarious if you are looking at it from a Bournemouth perspective. But the Fulham manager is going to be absolutely incensed. There was no reason to concede that.
But for all of us in the studio who are neutrals, it's nice to see a game give us a goal.
Go!
2 minutes of action, right? It's not bad, and there's so much football happening tonight, by the way. Bournemouth leading Fulham by a goal to nothing. Atletico Madrid in the Spanish La Liga up against Real Valladolid. And after 2 minutes, no goals have been scored there.
Two tandos on.
Same with Napoli Empoli too. Napoli are in the conversation for the title.
Because they all want to go Poli.
Yes, so I did tell you, bro, pass me the...
Abu. On Sunday night, had me absolutely jamming, bro. I was here in the studio, karaokeing to some good music. I was like,
You know when the former comes to the parking lot and he wants to park overdose, and then the speaker is blasting. Girl, you're on his those eyes. I'm like, boy, these guys, they take me back.
Good
to
music, kid it.
I can't be in the couch.
I was editing. I guarantee you, I was editing some content in the digital studio, and then I heard a song that sent me back to 2003.
By the way, guys, he's talking about Rewind on Nigeria Info.
Yes,
it comes every Sunday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
It's an absolute jam. It was Velvet who started singing along unconsciously. I started singing along as well unconsciously. I didn't know when I opened my Snapchat and I realized I hadn't sent streaks that day, so I sent I took a picture of my workflow on Premiere Pro. And then the song that I had to go and search for that song on Snapchat. I don't think that song was there, but I searched it and I found it and I added it. People are now wondering, say, where you bring this song from? I said, when I don't go understand, I see they bust my head, but what's going on?
That's what Foscolo knows how to do.
That's why he's now a guest on Game On. He's being part of the show because he's decided to rewind himself to ensure something.
Punchline! Too high! Drop mic, in it. Show's over. Wale gone.
So Napoli Empoli 0-0 in the Italian Serie A 2. We're watching these games for you and we'll sure let you in on it as the goals are scored. Back to our talk though. Overdose laid a bit of a foundation on that. And Overdose, please repeat those teams you mentioned again that you said will be in the top 5 at the end of the season.
Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle.
Bam.
Those 3 teams.
Brownish, you were responding before Foma and Adeze come through too.
Okay, you see the problem that I have, and this was a problem that I even found, off air, is the fact that we're not mentioning Aston Villa. I think the only reason why Aston Villa might not be in the conversations because they're still in Champions League. I don't think they will be in the Champions League after this week.
They see the FA Cup. They're
still in the FA Cup. So, and let's not forget, of all these teams, the only team that is playing better football than Aston Villa is Manchester City. Right? So Villa kind of are in the conversation as well. My one question mark there is Chelsea. And it's primarily because the Blues have the firepower. They do have the talent. They've got the squad to do it. But I've mentioned this in time and time again. Of all those managers, the worst to me is Enzo Maresca.
Wow.
Of all the managers for Nottingham Forest, to Manchester City, to Eddie Howe in Newcastle, to Unai Emery in Aston Villa, and then when you now bring it to Chelsea, Enzo Maresca to me is the worst manager in all of these things because there's nobody. I'm a firm believer in, sometimes it just doesn't work out with the team, because obviously what happened with Xavi Hernandez last season. But I have also become a believer in the fact that a good coach can do magic. And there's only one team that has a right to say that, oh, you know, we're having a bad season this season, and that's Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, because the entire team, they lost a Ballon d'Or winner. You know, the team is drab, they've got old players, they need restructuring. You can make excuses for that, even though we don't, because obviously, you know, when you're a big team, you've got to show up and show out regardless every season. But they're the only team that we can say we justify that. But Chelsea have young players. They've not played in Champions League for what, 4 or 5 seasons. They've invested over 1.5 billion pounds into their team. Do they have players that can score goals? They are making Cole Palmer manage to look like a bad player. I think he's not scored in 12. He's not had a goal contribution in 12. Wow. And he's had only 2 goal contributions in 14 or 16. And that's not a bad player. That's a player that scored in the final of the Euros, right? So for me, I feel like the worst at this point is probably Enzo Maresca, which is why I didn't subscribe when we had that conversation about, you know, Sancho going back to Manchester United, because I still believe that if Todd Bowley and whatever the consortium is that is running Chelsea at this point actually had in mind to create an actionable plan and stop acting like PSG in 2020, if they actually want to have a sporting plan, very akin to what Arsenal is doing, but you know, with more end product, they need to find a coach who can actually get the job done. And I don't think Enzo Maresca is that guy. And for me, I feel like that's the reason why, even if Nottingham Forest don't make it in there, I find it hard to believe that Chelsea will be the team that will replace them in the top 5.
Two teams will fall out. Out of these 5 I mentioned, you know, Man City, Newcastle, the Chelsea.
I don't think Manchester City and Newcastle will do it.
And then Chelsea, Nottingham, Man City, Newcastle, Aston Villa. So let's imagine you think Chelsea will be one of those 2 to drop. Which other team will drop out? There's still Newcastle, there's Aston Villa, there's Man City, and then there's Nottingham Forest.
I would say Aston Villa probably.
Okay, perhaps that distraction of the Champions League.
Because of the Champions League and the FA Cup.
Because PSG may knock them out more likely than not on Wednesday or Tuesday.
The problem is that of all these other teams, including with Manchester City and Newcastle, it's only Aston Villa that have tired legs on account of lasting in the Champions League this long. And if I'm being very honest, they don't have the squad depth to prosecute that. So I don't think they do.
Disagree on them not having squad depth. I think they added a lot of firepower in January, and we've seen the results. The like of Asensio has, you could argue that a couple of his goals are from the penalty spot, but we've seen people miss penalties. If you tell me that there are other teams in that unit who would possibly get the nod over Aston Villa, I would agree. I don't think it will be all about squad depth. I look at Newcastle. People said winning the trophy was probably going to
be the highlight of their season,
but they've shown that we're not here to play.
I agree.
Remember, they have a game in hand. If they do win that game,
that's why I said City and Newcastle agreed.
You know, I honestly think that I would even put Aston Villa ahead of Chelsea. Have you guys actually looked at the next?
But would you put them ahead of Nottingham? That was my problem.
No, Aston Villa.
That's why I said Aston Villa and Chelsea will drop out.
I think that Nottingham Forest will find a way and grind the results that they need. Let's not make it look like yesterday's or day before yesterday's result. It was bad for them in the context of the others getting the points that they needed. But it wasn't like Everton were played off the park. Everton scored a 94th minute goal. You know, that game could have easily ended in a draw. A point would have actually been better for them as opposed to not
a loss.
So that in the context of everything, it could be bad. But I look at all the other teams in that race for the Champions League, and for me, the worst of them all is Chelsea. I've also looked at the next fixtures that Chelsea have got. With the way they are playing, I don't see them getting the result. If they could not get a result against Ipswich, is it when they come up against Liverpool in Liverpool on the final day of the season? They are playing Nottingham Forest away from home. Almost everybody that has, if that game, it will be the decider. You and I know on paper today that Chelsea will not win that game. If Chelsea need to get 3 points at Forest, none of the big teams have actually gone to Forest and gotten a result. The highest they've gotten is Arsenal, who got a draw, and Liverpool, I think, who also got a draw there. I don't see Chelsea going to Forest to pick a point if that game is going to be the ultimate decider. And Brownish mentioned the fact that of all the managers in that setup, Maresca seems to be the one with the least experience. This is his first real senior job. Never mind winning the championship. We're not talking about championship football here. We're talking about doing it at the highest level. I think a combination of some naivety from him in terms of management and misfiring players, because let's also be honest with ourselves, a lot of the Chelsea players have been misfiring this season. So between Newcastle, Forest, City, who I think will find a way to get the results that they need,
and I think they're coming back.
So Forest, City, Aston Villa.
Forest, City, Aston Villa, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Here's me thinking, if there's anybody that's going to drop out, he most likely will be Chelsea. I don't see Nottingham Forest dropping out of the top 5. They will get the results that they need. I don't see them dropping off. Forest, City, and Newcastle for me would make up that Champions League position.
City, Newcastle. So you're not
Aston Villa and Chelsea.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to briefly say this is not an attack on Chelsea, and I agree in saying that Chelsea's players have been misfiring. But again, I also want to point out that there is a very obvious case of a team that had misfiring players last season that suddenly seem like they can win the Ballon d'Or this season. It's a coaching issue. I don't know how to explain it. The same Real Madrid team that won 2 trophies yesterday last season, which included the Champions League and La Liga, are a Real Madrid team that can't seem to get a look in against Arsenal. And this is not disrespectful to Arsenal, but no, I don't think there was any Arsenal fan who realistically went into that game against Madrid and expected Arsenal were going to beat them 3-0 without Madrid scoring a single goal.
I did.
Right? You're not an Arsenal fan.
I did.
I said Arsenal fan.
An Arsenal fan.
You're a hater. You're like Kendrick Lamar. Do you get what I mean? But what I will say is the fact that I do agree. I just kind of feel like of all these 5 teams, the ones that are going to drop out, Aston Villa obviously, because I think that there's going to be a lot of congestion, there's going to be a lot of back and forth.
I think they're getting knocked out.
I feel like
they're getting knocked out this week.
No, I do think so.
Of FA Cup.
But in the end,
who is getting
all of these things will still
Villa
against PSG. No, so I feel like
even if I can't even say that, then
he won't even say it, even if he thinks it. But what I will say is that I feel like if Chelsea had a better coach, right? And I don't understand the concept. Maybe it's because, and this seems like a cliche where people say, oh, Todd Bowley is an American, that's why. But I don't think it's because of being an American. Sometimes if you're a good businessman, if you know that you don't have an idea in the market you're going into, you employ people who know what they're doing.
The first question you should ask is, I don't think that I don't think the Chelsea management are really concerned the way the fans are concerned. I think for them, it's more about being pragmatic and making as much money as possible.
But how are they making money?
Don't worry, guys. We're going to come to Chelsea and their issues. Make we not leave this our top 5 gist.
They're selling Chelsea. Yeah. They're selling Chelsea female
team, which they have started talking to them that team you put did. You feel like it's illegal. Adeze, so this is where we are, because we're going to the phone lines after Adeze speaks. We'll also read your comments via the WhatsApp portal too. Don't forget, one play cash waiting for you. *347 *880 *3#. The code you can use to play one play, *347 *880 *3#, or the website www.oneplay.ng. We have 40,000 naira each for several winners on the show tonight. You can be one of them, and all you need to do is spend at least 500 naira for each entry of yours. And when you play, I beg, be close to your phone, because those calls will be coming through to our lucky winners on the show tonight. Good luck to you in advance. So 2 persons have picked 2 similar teams they think will be out of the top 5 eventually. One Charlie by my side here, by my left, went on to pick some other teams too. I wouldn't mention the teams, so Adeze will share her thoughts before we go to those. But he picked 2 teams, and one of the teams he called is similar to one of the teams that both Brownish and Ufoma went for. And I'm wondering what Adeze is thinking, knowing that between Nottingham Forest, who are 3rd, and Aston Villa, who are 7th, there's just a 3-point disparity. 2 out of those 5 teams will eventually not make the top 5. That's the reality of life. So which 3 will make the top 5 from your POV, Adeze?
Well, what we can do here is to speculate.
Exactly what we're doing.
Because these results are going to change every weekend. And let me start by that. These results will change every single weekend. By next Monday, maybe, I don't know the kind of conversation we'll be having. But the team that I think have question mark around them is Nottingham Forest. They have sat in the top 5 continuously since December 7th. And now that it matters most, they have the losses to Everton and Aston Villa have put question mark. Is it now a blip that could see them come back, or is this a permanent collapse that could see them knock off? What they have as an advantage now is just 3 points on the log. So one more loss, and these losses have coincided with Olaino's absence. So it's not even a coaching problem. There's their game and their culture and identity this season has hinged on defensive commitment. Their defensive shape, and one of the linchpins is out injured. So we cannot take out that.
Agreed.
We don't even know if Forest. So like I said, these things are going to change. Even Chelsea, who have stuttered, can wake up in their next 4 games and get 12 points.
Have you seen the fixtures of Chelsea?
It's not even about the fixture right now. But again, I'm not saying that they have
It's about the fixture.
Chelsea are the lowest for the Champions League. In fact, Chelsea are not even going to make that top 5. But I'm just saying that football is unpredictable. Enzo Maresca does not have a solution when his team blips. Leicester City nearly blew it up. Nearly, just that because it was championship, they were able to just salvage something. They went on this long stretch without
last season,
without a victory, and there was no plan B. He was just looking, just the way he's looking now, and that's something we talked about. Fabio Capello's this thing, having been obsessed with your own philosophy and not. There was nothing wrong with Chelsea Football Club. Absolutely nothing. These boys now with boys, gara, and that has brought them results. Suddenly, you just say, you know what, more control. How can you tell a young team more control? Players that are still trying to decipher their own philosophy, find their own path, how they want to play football. You can preach control to Liverpool that have mature men, Virgil van Dijk, Salah, Luis Diaz. They've played at the top level for a very long time. You can preach control to Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, and Ruben Diaz and Josko Vadio and Doku. Not these babies, average bunch of players. He is the problem, and Chelsea will not make top 5. They can write it down somewhere. And somebody still owing me 200k. That Conference League, they will not win it. That's on one side. Now, for Aston Villa and Newcastle, they have picked at the right time. Aston Villa can even decide to make about 8 changes to the lineup, like we saw before they played Paris Saint-Germain, and they are doing the job. Their players are ticking. Yuri Tielemans is almost unplayable, finishing the season on a high. He's the chief creator. If the way he conducts that midfield, and they're scoring. Marcus Rashford is back alive. Donyell Malen can come off the bench. So talking about strength in there, I don't agree.
Well, you just mentioned all you mentioned was forward players.
For a moment, I wanted to say nice rebuttal. There's
Douglas Luiz, who can even get. Only Watkins came off the bench. Bro, they have scored depth.
But you've just been mentioning he's not at Aston Villa any longer.
Oh,
Douglas Luiz is at Juve.
He's at Juve now.
McGinn. Oh God, John McGinn. I beg your pardon, not Douglas Luiz.
So
Douglas Luiz
you just mentioned attacking players.
So the teams that look like they will maintain this momentum.
Don't even argue this. You can't talk about squad depth and put Aston Villa.
I just mentioned people they called off the bench to win the game.
But we are talking about.
They called on Oli Watkins. They called on Donyell Malen. These guys came and contributed. They called on John McGinn, and of course. They have their Ezri Konsa.
I'm sorry. The only person that you mentioned there that I actually rate is Oli Watkins.
That is your personal opinion. But
it's not. No, but if I'm being very honest, wait now.
They've been doing
wait now. But the thing is, for me, no, it's not about picking at the right time. The reason why all of these players have been shipped to Aston Villa is because they have been so inconsistent in superior teams.
But they are now playing that they are not level. This is your personal opinion.
But if all at their level, is it enough to put Villa in the top 5?
Brownish, hold on.
Delivering.
Aston Villa is not a superior team.
Exactly.
Aston Villa know their level.
Exactly, and these players have come.
They are neither great and neither are they canon for them.
Exactly.
Asensio wasn't getting the looking at PSG. If you ask any Aston Villa fan right now, he will tell you Asensio is the best thing after sliced bread. Marcus Rashford wasn't doing great at Manchester United. The numbers might not say it, but he's doing a job for
Aston Villa. Yeah.
Malon that you mentioned, I don't rate him at all.
0.
At Dortmund, I don't rate him.
Exactly.
I think he's just an average player. But you see, he's in the squad. He can come off the bench and do a job.
Scored over the weekend.
I think he scored in the previous match too. The point is just to rebut that. I don't think Aston Villa will do enough to get into that top 5.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be about them not having the squad. It will probably be about the fact that there are other teams who will do better than them.
I want to go to the phone line straight away, guys. Thank you for your summation. And just to buttress the points again, somehow they still didn't land to let me know which teams are going to be out of that.
You can join next week. I don't know what I was saying next week.
Overdose went for Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa to drop. Ufoma went for Chelsea and Aston Villa to drop. Brownish went for Chelsea and Aston Villa to drop. What are you going for out of these 5 teams
Chelsea,
who are at this moment in the top 7 who are battling for a place in the top 5 to qualify for the UEFA Champions League? Which teams are you going? Go, don't come.
Yes.
Okay, quickly, please, because add.
Mamadou Silla has scored against Atletico Madrid at the Vanda Metropolitano.
I hear Silla, the thing that comes to mind is Prison Break. Silla.
Why is it that the thing that comes to my mind is Odysseus?
Of Stella
Silla
right
and Charybdis.
To the phone line to get your thoughts. Which teams do you think will drop out of that top 5 eventually? How are you doing? Welcome. Okay, call me back if you can. Things just they mess up somehow with the connection, but this should be better. Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, bro.
Welcome to the show.
My name is Victor.
Okay.
As a Chelsea fan, I think I'm also optimistic that we'll make the top 4 for sure. We'll make it. But I think Aston Villa will not make the top 4, and get it in mind also, Newcastle will not make top 4.
Oh wow! So you think Aston Villa and Newcastle will drop out?
It's gonna be Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, and Chelsea. The big boys are up from there.
All right, don't forget there's an extra slot now, so it's top 5 we're talking about, not top 4 anymore. Top 5.
Okay, the top 5. Top 5. Maybe Newcastle, because of top 5, Newcastle will nick the 5th spot.
Okay, and let's just recap before you go. So you're sticking with Man City, Newcastle, and what? You're off. Call me back if you can. Oh, it's Chelsea. Okay. On WhatsApp, you're also speaking. This says, good evening to everyone in the house. I appreciate what you guys are doing. Keep the flag flying, mommy. Saludo from Ejigbo has that message. We'll pick more of your calls once we return from this commercial break. This is Game On, brought to you by Femi and the Gang got Nigeria Info. It's a full house this Monday evening, and I'm excited really to have a former Daisy, Brownish, and Overdose alongside myself, Chuma. And just to remind you again about one play, *347 *880 *3 hash, the code you can use to play, or the website www.oneplay.ng. When we return from this commercial break, we'll pick more of your calls and read out more of your comments from Facebook, where we're streaming live, to WhatsApp and even X at Nigeria Info FM. And then switch to other exciting stories on the show, looking back at the action from the Nigeria Premier Football League, the title race over there. What's it like for Remo Stars? Ikorodu City are now in the conversation too, perhaps at least for a place on the continent at the end of the campaign. And also, we have an idea when El Clasico will take place, part 2 for the Spanish La Liga. Should Ancelotti remain as coach of Real Madrid at the end of the season? Not forgetting an exclusive interview with Nigerian athletics legend Deji Aliyu, who'll be telling us about the problems with athletics in the country and how we can correct that. We'll be back.
Area Info will be right back.
Life is always full of wahala, but there is music, passion, feelings, and good vibes. Take a ride with InDrive app to get there on your own terms. You decide what your life will be full of and choose a fair price for this ride. InDrive, the InDrive online passenger transportation aggregator, is not a taxi service. Find more information at www.indrive.com.
Mr. As my guy don't win, me say don't danger. No dollar. We did jolly just come welcome offer. Download BetKing app and register today using the promo code FreeBets to enjoy your 100 naira instant sign-up bonus and other exciting offers. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18 years. Play responsibly.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
That's the sound of a snout that's reserved for legends. It's got that bold taste that matches your cool swag, sharp vibes, and one-of-a-kind style. Feel the full brewed Legend Extra Stout go down easy from the first sip to the very last drop. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly. Legend Extra Stout. Available in draft.
Are you a business owner? Are you concerned about the identity of your staff, permanent, contract, or domestic? Look no further. Alphageric HR Partners automate your HR process with your security in mind by affording you seamless verification of your employee details. With Alphageric HR Partners, you can effectively onboard, profile, document, recruit, and manage employees. No paperwork. Store and access staff records instantly. Automate payroll and leave applications. Our verification portal enhances your security, guarantors verification, address verification, academic verification, criminal history, previous employer verification, and many more, all from the comfort of your device. Why not subscribe with us today and keep your business and family protected? For inquiries, visit www.alphageric.hrpartners.com.ng or call 0815-934-9738. Think security. Think Alphageric HR.
The question is not why South Africa. The real question is how you South Africa. How you'll come across 1,000 tongues that all speak in one voice. Welcome. How you can wake up with one foot firmly planted in the Indian Ocean and the other in the Atlantic Ocean. How diamonds and couture are but a stone's throw away from the safari. How your tongue will visit 1 million destinations on one plate. How your feet will sway in djembe, your torso in amapiano, and your mind in bliss. How crystal clear rivers flow in the day, and crystal flows in the night. Whoa. We know this because this is how we South Africa every single day. And this is why we invite you to South Africa with us. So come see, touch, taste, and feel South Africa. Come journey with us. Visit www.southafrica.net and see for yourself.
Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Join us as we celebrate 10 years of empowering futures. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur or a hardworking professional, we are here to support you every step of the way with our expert guidance and tailored financial solutions. The horizon is yours to explore. Join us today and start your journey to a brighter future. For more information, you can visit us at any of our branches close to you. DDMFB, Empowering Futures.
As we gather to celebrate his resurrection,
as we share in his grace,
as families come together,
Spar brings you the joy of Easter with amazing offers on everything you need for your celebration.
This Easter, Spar Market is bringing hearts together with amazing offers. Enjoy up to 50% off on special Easter items, from ingredients to thoughtful gifts for loved ones. Available from 11th to 30th April 2025 at Spar Market stores nationwide. Spar Market, there for you.
You define better odd. I be you one play cause over 1.5. I be you one bet say both seem no go score at all. Oh yeah, we get better payout. No worry, we there for you. Our odd chabrat out. In all the feeling show. Oh no, we there for you. Oh, we there for you. You see for bet Baba, free we money. Bet Baba, cash out today easy or bet Baba. We get online games for you to play. Oh God, yeah. We get better bonus. Money we know that yeah, now bet Baba day so. Cash out, no sharp. Oh darling, no. Welcome to Bet Baba.
Register now on betbaba.ng. Not for people under 18.
It's new, it's fresh, it's the H45, the all-new Heineken 45cl. The H45 bottle is designed to fit into your lifestyle. It's the same great taste. Cheers to the new Heineken 45cl. The new Heineken 45cl with the same great refreshing taste, now in a size that fits your style. Drink responsibly, not for sale to persons under 18.
Happiness for everyone is when you cook with the aroma and the taste.
It is sweet my belly.
Onga for ogbonge taste and aroma.
What is the square root of pi by 4?
4.0.
Wow, that's my girl. The Cowbellpedia Mega Minds is here. Don't miss a single moment of the action in the Cowbellpedia Mega Minds 2025 edition.
Over the 14 weeks, viewers also stand a chance to win prizes when they participate from home.
Tune in to Cowbellpedia Mega Minds on Africa Magic or visit our website at cowbellpedia.tv to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Cowbell. So good, so smart.
She start chasing all the bags. Come and secure another bag with the Jolly Just Come Welcome offer. Download BetKing app and register today using the promo code FreeBets to enjoy your 100 Naira instant sign-up bonus and other exciting offers. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18 years. Play responsibly.
We are inspired by our roots, boundless. We create our own rhythm, the rhythm of the new Goldberg Black, a symphony of ingredients to savor, dark malts for that rich, dark quality, and aroma that captivates. 6% alcohol to turn up the enjoyment. Refreshing lager with a kick of black. Feel the groove with Goldberg Black. Same rules, new rhythm. Not suitable for persons under 18 years. Drink responsibly.
Now ask for am. We don't run am. You ask for am. It don't happen. Yes, so News Central did live on top Go TV channel 23 with the summoner, the latest story and information from Niger and Obodo Yibo. Sabi say with Go TV, News Central go knock you correct story and wetin dey happen for politics, business, sports and entertainment as it dey hot. As it dey happen, now so we dey talk am. You ask for am, you don't get am. News Central, station where they totori belle.
Na so I dey on my own. Na a message enter my phone. Fiam. I can't click am. Fiam. Na so my money for account go. Fiam. Hey. If to say na Airtel you dey use, dem for first alert you before you click am. Airtel dey identify spammers, then alert dem customers with AI-powered service to make sure say you no fall mugu for wuruwuru scam messages. No charges, no subscription needed. Me sef dey go join Airtel. Fiam.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Is that Alfie playing football in the rain?
It's Toby Chio.
My goodness. When did he grow up?
That's it with kids, so.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
My ions please can't get enough. My ions please give it to me now. It go rehydrate you, yeah. Replenish your ions with Pocari Sweat. Rehydrate you faster, easy we observe. Pocari Sweat, give me some more. Pocari Sweat.
That's the sound of a snout that's reserved for legends. It's got that bold taste that matches your cool swag, sharp vibes, and one-of-a-kind style. Feel the full brewed Legend Extra Stout go down easy from the first sip to the very last drop. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly. Legend Extra Stout. Available in draft.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's game on.
Feel the magic in the air. Feel the magic in the air.
Feel the magic in the
Show Game On with Femi and the Gang on Nigeria Info, and this is more like the halfway stage of the presentation because we'll be here until 10 p.m. Thank you for being out there and being part of the party. Your thoughts and comments pouring in via social media, WhatsApp, X at Nigeria Info FM, and even Facebook where we have been streaming live. Thank you for all your thoughts. We appreciate you. And we should pick one or two calls of yours before we move to other things on the show. Well, still to come tonight, there's money waiting for you through one play. We'll have the drawers coming through after 9 p.m. Star 347, star 880, star 3 hash, the code you can use to play, or the website and qualify for US Champions League from the next season. And looking at how things are, it was a weekend where Chelsea dropped points, Nottingham Forest also dropped points, Newcastle and Man City alongside Aston Villa consolidated in their quest to get something nice for themselves. That has left us in a position where from 3rd to 7th, there's just a 3-point disparity between Nottingham Forest, who are 3rd, and Aston Villa, who are currently 7th on the log. With just about 6 more games to the end of the season, we're asking you at this time, which teams do you think eventually, based on all your thoughts, seeing them across the entirety of the season and what the situation is like now, which 3 teams do you think will still squeeze into that top 5 and qualify for the Champions League, and which 2 will fall out by the wayside? Here we go with more of your thoughts on social media. Good evening, Chuma of a Diesel, Brownish Uforma, and Daisy. Doubtless, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I want to believe my team would hopefully make the top 5, even though we've honestly not been imprinting in our mood of play, as you put it, really. So here are my top 5 predictions. Liverpool, Arsenal, and then from 3rd to 5th, Man City, Chelsea, and Newcastle. So he believes that Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa will fall out of that top 5 at the end of the season. Good evening to you, Chuma, and the rest of the team. The EPL will be like this: Man City 3rd, Newcastle 4th, Aston Villa 5th, meaning he thinks that Chelsea and Nottingham Forest will fall out of that. Amazing. This is from Elder Nwachuku from Fagba. Elder, thank you so much for your thoughts. While Chelsea still have Man United, Newcastle, Fulham, and Liverpool to play, says the factor is the respective matches ahead of for each team. So you're saying Nottingham Forest, for example, seem not to have many difficult teams to play aside from Chelsea, but the Blues you've mentioned have some other high-profile games to come. This is from Tolulokpe Saliu from Awoyaya. Is that you suggesting that Chelsea will struggle to make the top 5? You can clarify on that and share your thoughts with us, okay? Thank you so much. I'll just do 2 more now on WhatsApp so we can delve into other discussions. Wow. Comment plenty for this last shout. Good evening. But Ancelotti should just stay with Madrid and retire there. I think that will be the next decision, or best decision for him, you say. Don't worry, we'll come with that one. For Overdose, he says, don't worry, Overdose, you go explain. Tire, no evidence. Up Manchester divided, as he calls the team. Tell that guy where won't go in village to turn a palm wine tapper. Oh, I love those Overdose proverbs. Bro, you don't blow, he says. That's from Abiola from Ilukweju. Yes, okay. Yes, sir.
Gracias. But Man United will come good again.
Mm.
Dry bones will rise again.
Okay.
It's been 12 years now. 12 good years.
Overdose. Dry bones will rise again.
Overdose.
Don't worry.
I don't know why you guys
are coming to you guys in the beat. Hello, welcome. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Bola speaking from Ojo.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, I think the 2 teams among these 5 teams that will make the top 4 will be probably Man City, Newcastle.
Okay.
Yes, I can also mention.
So for this season, we're going to have top 5 that will qualify for the Champions League, meaning just 2 fall by the wayside.
Yes, I'll be mentioning Man City.
Okay.
Newcastle.
All right.
And Chelsea probably.
Meaning Aston Villa and Nottingham will fall out. That's what you think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Can I make some comment concerning Man City and Liverpool?
Okay, as quickly as you can. Just maybe 40 seconds, quickly, please.
Yeah, I just want to say, I can see Man City, they are that thing that you can reckon with in England now.
Okay.
Because this is the second time Liverpool will be chasing 4 trophies, and the at the end of the day ending up with one or lesser trophies of two. Of which this is where we should give kudos to this Man City. I know someone will come out and say Man City squad depth. That person should mention the first team of Man City then and the amount of the bench left for Man City that time that they carry a treble, and mention the the first 11 of Liverpool now, and mention the benches available for them as well. So it's not a matter of they don't have bench or whatever. It is the mentality, and I don't think I can say they are the true champion and they are the team to reckon with at the next season as well.
All right, thank you so much, man.
Chuma, I'm sorry, I'm not going to let this kind of disingenuous talk go and not rebut it. I think it's quite not great, to actually say this and say it's just about Man City's mentality. Winning the treble is no mean feat. That's why not a lot of people have done it. Manchester United in 99, Barcelona in 2015, even the great Real Madrid have not done a treble. That's how difficult it is to do it. But to sit here and say it's not about Man City's squad, do you literally need me to reel out the names of the players that City have in the team that went on to do the treble, starting from their striker to Kevin De Bruyne, the amount of money and investment how many teams have that luxury where you can sign a goalkeeper and after one season he's not doing so great, you shove him aside and spend another almost 30 million to buy another goalkeeper? Please, let's not say this. Truth of the matter is that while we always give credit to the manager Pep Guardiola because he's done a fantastic job, let's not take away the place of the amount of money that was spent in the investment to get them where they are. Yes, you can bring the examples of, Man U have spent money, Chelsea have spent money, they are not there. You can spend money and not be great. You can also spend money, and if you do things well, you get to where you are. You cannot in any way be comparing the squad of Manchester City with any other person in the Premier League. I'm sorry. I
beg, just spend money on me for I wouldn't mind right now, man. 62 Igbo from Facebook says, I'm watching you live from Ijoko Rijaye here in Lagos. And for this one that's come through from Chukwuemeka Nwa Jesus says, Adeze, you have a beautiful voice. This other one is also coming through from Moses Williams, who says, Chuma, you know they old. All right, thank you for your thoughts, guys. We'll pick more calls hopefully as we progress and also read out more of your comments via social media. But time to run over to other things. Still to come, the NPFL conversation, the title race over there, and then this Real Madrid Barca El Clasico date that we now have an idea of for the month of May. When will the game take place? What's the title race like in Spain? And should Carlo Ancelotti remain as boss of Real Madrid at the end of this season? We'll be hearing from you on that. Before going any further, though, let's delve into athletics for a bit, shall we? Well, Nigerians were heartbroken after the Paris 2024 Olympics. Time they fly, man. So my head was just thinking about London 2012 and Rio 2016, and I'm like, bro, this is over a decade ago. Focus on 2024, Chima. So Paris in France hosted that competition, and Nigeria went there without coming back with anything to be proud of from an athletics perspective. What's the problem with athletics in the country, and how can we rectify this to ensure that we have cause to smile in the near future? Okay, I know.
Plan.
Yeah, planner.
That's all we have to do.
Yeah, town planning.
Plan and have a plan and
implement.
That's all.
So beyond talking, show some walking really at this stage. Well, DJ Aliyu is somebody who's had a plan in the past and has represented Nigeria at the highest level in athletics. He was part of the golden generation for us in the sport when, well, there was always good things to talk about for Nigeria. 2000, for example, when we got gold from the Olympics in the 4x400 meters. Silver initially upgraded to gold. Several other names coming through over the years, whether it's Mary Onyali, who was there from the 1990s, to Falila Tugunkoya, to all of the greats, Nefio Gudobong, Dejaliu himself, Fashuba, who was African record holder for 100 meters up until 2021. So what can we do right? We had an exclusive interview with Deji Aliyu to find out what the problem is. And he says one of the biggest challenges for athletes in Nigeria, more so the male athletes, has been having to go to the NCAA in the USA. And he says for the ladies who've gone there, they've gone at a younger age. But for many of the guys, they go there at their peak, courtesy of the education, experience, and scholarship that comes with that. So by the time they're done with NCAA, it's too late to still make themselves superstars at the global stage.
I mean, Toby got into that system at a reasonable age. And that's why she's coming out with a value, with something. But we cannot say that for many of our athletes. So that's the difference there. Until we try to create a system that works. And the thing is, it's like I was saying there, now you cannot hold them back from going to the only system that they feel works for them. That's nothing back home. Go around the stadium in Nigeria, the facilities there in fact, they are eyesore. Let me give you one example. The starting block I used at my last competition in 2009 is yet to arrive in Nigeria. They don't have it in Nigeria now.
15, 16 years after?
Yes, they don't have it. I'll be honest with you. The starting block I used 2009 is not in Nigeria yet. What we have are like outdated one. Then when you take those athletes out, when they see those new blocks, they now start acting like, what is this? How do they use this? So we have a lot to do in terms of infrastructure. Our facilities must be updated. Then the environment must be. Look at what MTN is doing. Incredible. Imagine if we have 1, 2, 3 company doing it. Like I always tell people, it's not about the talent. Go to anywhere around this country. The talent will shock you. The talent is unbelievable. I have the opportunity of traveling to different states and seeing, I will just see some like, oh God, I wish I have the resources to just bring this one closer and turn him to a superstar. One of the guys we were talking about, Benjamin, when I saw this guy in Jos, he's a footballer. Yes, he was a footballer. That was his first year as an athlete. When I saw him, he was still doing showboating and everything. I was like, this talent is unbelievable. They're like, 51, what is 51? How can a man be running 51? They say, how can a man be running 51? That's what women are running. I said, yeah, because he has not seen anything close to good training. I said, do you want him? I said, yeah, sure, I want him. He said, 51. I said, yes, bring him in. 6 months, 51 to 48-0.
Short of 3 seconds, incredible.
I swear to God. And I can stand here and tell you, beating my chest, that this guy, before the national trial, this guy would drop for 46. Now they've been able to put them in a situation whereby they don't have to think where their next meal is coming from. They have a roof over their head.
So focus on this.
So it's all about that. The focus is on one, and you can see the result. A lot of them, the progress is, in fact, some of them are like, Coach, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything different. When I was running during my days, I still, put my pocket into consideration.
You're thinking of how to eat, how to.
Yes, now.
Family members are also dependent on you as well too, and all that.
I mean, a big competition is coming, and a meet organizer is offering me $10,000. So you want me to forget about the $10,000 and be thinking about a competition that nothing is guaranteed? So then for me it was more about the money.
Realistically, because there's no pension after sports, as we love.
No pension. If people see me here today looking tattered, they're like, don't mind.
That legend, CC legend.
You understand? But because I was more concerned about my future, and I invested in myself, and that's why people see me today and like, oh, okay. So a lot needs to be done, and the government only owing up to their responsibility. The new sport DG, it was at the stadium about a month ago, and I told him, he said, so Deji, what do you need from us? I told him, I said, sir, look at the facility. I saw, look at all those. No, we don't have all this, no starting block, nothing. Go to the store, empty, zero, nothing. And it was like, oh, that's going to be our priority. But it's just, I hope it's not a political statement, but we need to improve on our facilities. That's just the only way out. If they need to get more Fasuba, more Deji, more Onyali, invest in your facility.
Well, that's Nigerian athletics great Deji Aliyu speaking about the issues with athletics in Nigeria and what can be done to make things better for us so we can go back to the glory days where our athletes were winning medals in international competitions. Like himself, Deji, who was part of the Nigerian relay team that got bronze at the 2004 Olympics alongside Innocent Asonze, Francis Obikwelu, who eventually went on to run for Portugal years after, and Daniel Afyong. Deji Aliyu also won bronze in the 4x100 meters relay for Nigeria at the 1999 World Athletics Championships. And he had been around winning medals for the country in other events, including the All-African Games. And so when he speaks, you certainly have to listen to that. I have a bit of discussion around that. Onufoma, I wouldn't forget in a hurry, you went to Warri sometime in 2016 or so for the African Athletics Championship when Delta State hosted the competition. And then things were still better for us because we had the blessing of Kagbari, who was winning things for us. These days we talk about Toby Amusu and Ese Brume, but it looks like every time we're dependent on the women and not the men. And he was trying to explain, Deji was trying to explain why the men are not as successful in athletics in recent years for Nigeria as the women are.
Achuma, is a sad tale. In fact, to be honest, I already pushed the mic away because I wasn't even ready to answer any question that has to do with this. Reason being, it feels like another age, that I actually went to cover the African athletics tournament wasn't Warri, it was Ole.
Was Delta, right?
No, I think it was in Uzora. Yeah, in Delta State. That's actually my village. I forgot.
Did you go to Sapele? I'm trying to get where exactly, but I know Delta State.
No, it was in Uzora. It was actually in Uzora. Because I remember that vividly. It feels like a different age right now. 2018. This is 7 years after. And if I'm being honest, for a while now, I haven't necessarily followed Nigeria's athletics. But the one thing I do know for sure is that there's been this competition over the last 2 or 3 years, that has sort of tried to discover these talents from the grassroots, making of champions in partnership with one of the telecommunication giants. I can't tell you a lot more details about that competition, but I do know that something like that has been ongoing for 2 or 3 years. We're most likely not going to see the benefit immediately. But I think when Brownish was talking about plan, this is the kind of plan we should be implementing. This is what
so I shouldn't cut you right now, but we're going for a commercial break, and you guys will tell me more. Did you said something though that touched me, that the starting block that he used in 2009 in international competition still dates. We don't have that kind of starting block in Nigeria. Shameful, man. We'll be back after this.
Life can be anything, but make yours a party that never stops.
The beer with a Latin vibe. Vibe out, let loose, and turn the heat all the way up. Because with Desperados, the party is wherever you want it to be.
Grab a Desperados and ignite your party spirit. Desperados, beer with a Latin vibe. Enjoy responsibly. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4, with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4, nourish your child's potential.
Life is always full of wahala, but there is music, passion, feelings, and good vibes. Take a ride with InDrive app to get there on your own terms. You decide what your life will be full of and choose a fair price for this ride. InDrive. The InDrive online passenger transportation aggregator is not a taxi service. Find more information at www.indrive.com.
What is this quote of pie before? Girl, the Cowbell Minds here. Missing moment of action, the Cowbellpedia Mega Minds 2025 edition.
Over the 14 weeks, viewers also stand a chance to win prizes when they participate from home.
Tune in to Cowbellpedia Mega Minds on Africa Magic or visit our website at cowbellpedia.tv to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Cowbell. So good, so smart.
That's the sound of a snout that's reserved for legends. It's got that bold taste that matches your cool swag, sharp vibes, and one-of-a-kind style. Feel the full brewed Legend Extra Stout go down easy from the first sip to the very last drop. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly. Legend Extra Stout. Available in draft.
Na so I dey on my own. Na a message enter my phone. Fiam. I can't click am. Fiam. Na so my money for account go. Fiam. Hey. If to say na Airtel you dey use, them for first alert you before you click am. Airtel they identify spammers, then alert them customers with AI powered service to make sure say you no fall mugu for wuru scam messages. No charges, no subscription needed. Me self they go join Airtel. Fiam.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
If person ask you say, wetin be the game where they totori you pass, you go tell them say na better know all the time. You go tell yourself, make you follow join for the ogbonge betting options, fast cash out, missions wey dey engage you, and get welcome bonus wey fit reach 200,000 naira. Better know, the game don't start. Make you dey bet responsibly. Now only for people wey don pass 18 years. Better know na proud partner of Aston Villa.
My ions, please, can't get enough. My ions, please, give it to me now. It go rehydrate you, yeah. Replenish your ions with Pocari Sweat. Rehydrate you faster, easy we observe. Pocari Sweat, give me some more. Pocari Sweat.
We are ruthless. Create our own rhythm with the new Goldberg Black, a symphony of ingredients to savor, dark malts for that rich, dark quality, and aroma that captivates. 6% alcohol to turn up the enjoyment. Refreshing lager with a kick of black. Feel the groove with Goldberg Black. Same rules, new rhythm. Not suitable for persons under 18 years. Drink responsibly.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
One more hour of the show. Game on with Femi and the gang right here on Nigeria Info. Chuma, former Brownish, Adeze, Overdose in the studio. You also are there, certainly part of this one. You see what's up, man. Did that on purpose, man. You know, for years we did this like 6 years together in PH. When Amigo intro I've been intro me, one of their
This isn't a Game of Thrones.
You see I'm overdose, it's not.
Game of information.
You see it's all about the info, man. For Nigeria. That's why we're Nigeria Info, eh?
For my grandma.
Yeah, so I know say we won't dwell on this athletics gist if we take our time, and I want us to speak about Carlo Ancelotti and his future at Real Madrid. So Ufoma, just to wrap up on what you were saying.
Yeah, I was saying that we need these kinds of plans where we need to be able to get these athletes from a very, very young age.
Yeah.
And whether we like it or not, we do not have the facilities, unfortunately. Digi touched on it. The reason everybody's going on and on about what's her name, you know, she's been able to go to the US on a scholarship where she has better facilities that has helped her, you know, get to the peak of her powers. We need more of this because unfortunately we're still dealing with Brown men. I don't know if we were off air when he mentioned it. Our daily struggle, we're still having to deal with what am I going to eat? You know, the government is not even helping matters. So whether we like it or not, government cannot fund sports the way we think
when
it
the basic
should.
life we're trying to survive is
when we're trying to survive
right?
basic life issues, power, water, and all of that. So we need all of these plans, and then we also need some of these guys, you know, to find their way to better countries. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Some of them will get emancipated, so to speak, you know, and start running for these countries. You're laughing about it. Our former colleague Daniel Braid, who used to be one of our OEPs on Nigerian for Port Harcourt, Chuma, 5 years ago he left the country for Australia. He sent us a video some 2-3 weeks ago. His daughter is a state champion in 100, 200, 400 meters out there in Australia.
Amazing.
In probably 7 to 8 years from now, or possibly 10 years from now, and you get to see Maisha Braid, you know, running for Australia. You start asking, this lady has Nigerian roots.
Why is she not running for us?
Exactly, but it's because they've seen the talent already, and they started nurturing them from a very tender age.
True.
We do not have, unfortunately, those facilities here.
I know Brownish is passionate about that too, and Brownish, I'll give you just 60 seconds to land, because if we go back, all that gist on the show. Yeah, you want to say something then just before DJ Aliyu spoke?
I just wanted to mention the fact that you know Atletico Madrid took the lead. Julian Alvarez and Giuliano Simeone That's basically it.
I was going to say counter what you said. You said that those good old days that athletics has never had a good time in Nigeria.
Wow.
We have the goal of the.
That's
I'm not
true.
trying. I'm coming. I'm going somewhere. All of the experts that we've achieved, Chioma Ajuwans of this world, I've heard Blessing Okagbare, they were individual that just felt I will give everything. Has Nigeria ever supported anybody? Has the system and the structure ever supported anybody? Now we all jubilated. I'm not trying to say what's his name? Chukwumerije, remember, was self-sponsored that won the medal. I could go on and on. Anybody that won a medal from the Tobi Amusos has always been that extra. It is me against you. I need to do this for my family. And not Nigeria has never given our athletes. Imagine they had given our athletes, we will not be here. Now back to the recent. The sports ministry, there's nothing like the sports ministry. They now said it's the National Sports Commission has been constituted. All we saw when it happened was courtesy visit. All the boys of the person that is there went to go and pay homage. That was it. After that, where is the blueprint or the roadmap from the National Commission or Sports Commission to say in 2025 we are planning to do this, in 2026 we are planning to do this. This is the plan going into the Olympics in America. This is the plan going to. So it's not enough to have a sports commission. What exactly is the plan? I'm watching that space. Nothing has come up for facilities. Has Nigeria even go to that national stadium? I paid a visit there some couple of months ago. We go there, nothing happens. No, Nigeria has never. Remember that Tobi Amusa and the rest of them had to be adopted by individuals who paid their. Now for outside, make I speak pidgin. Now for outside, our athletes they go train. Oh, none of them can even survive in Nigeria because you cannot eat fufu and bread and tea and indomie and go and compete with ushers them of this world. I'm talking about the female category now. Even the male, they usually go outside. They go and camp. Still, I'm another man's fast. So Nigeria has never laid that strong foundation for athletes to thrive. Are we going to start in 2025? I do not know. But right now, what the Sport Commission are doing is just to map out our boys. They will snap picture. Hey, this person paid courtesy visit to so and so person. I'm not going to call anybody's name, but they know themselves. I'm not even going to sit down here and say we need to wake up. We have been sleeping since. What is the blueprint in 2025? And we'll still come back to this conversation after 5 years.
Pertinent questions, and the country certainly has to respond the right way. And Brownish has been monitoring that La Liga fixture. I'll tell you about the Premier League, where it's halftime. Bournemouth leading Fulham by a goal to nothing. The second half is now underway, officially 2 minutes into the second half into that game. It's still 1-0 in favor of AFC Bournemouth. Napoli lead Empoli by a goal to nothing. That territory is a territory with action too. In fact, Napoli scored the second goal. Lukaku with that in the 56th minute. Scott McTominay had opened scoring for them in the 18th minute. So Napoli 2, Empoli 0. And Brownish, you guys in Spain?
It's still 2-1. It was at halftime last time I checked.
Alrighty, your guys at Atletico, leading Real Valladolid 2-1.
2-1 in Spain.
Indeed, bro. Quickly to a bit more from other sports before we return to football. Give it up for Rory McIlroy right now. He's completed the Grand Slam in golf, and it's exciting times for the superstar who got some huge congratulatory message from Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was the last person to win what they call the Grand Slam in golf, and that was in the year 2000. He's a 15-time major winner, Tiger Woods, we know that. And he joined the likes of Jack Nicklaus, Ben Hogan, Jean Sarazen, and South Africa's Gary Player, who achieved that feat in 1965. And now Rory McIlroy has joined that illustrious company of legendary golfers after he got the Masters title, certainly completing everything. So it's Masters, Open Championship, US Open, and USPGA Championship titles. That's one thing that the Northern Ireland superstar at the age of 35 has now completed. Incredible stuff for Rory McIlroy, who was very emotional after the victory. I'm preparing to go in to give out money to you courtesy of One Play. But now to the Nigeria Premier Football League, R-League. While the guys are battling to be in the top 5 in England to qualify for European football, in Nigeria, it's the race to be in the top 3 to qualify for continental football in Africa. Can be the CAF Champions League or the Confederation Cup, or even going for the title. And the battle is getting even more stiff. Remo Stars dropped points at home over the weekend. Could Rivers United capitalize? I'll tell you after we hear from Daniel Ogumodede, the boss of Remo Stars, who says, hey, there's still 15 more points to fight for, and his team are hopeful they still will be champions.
We drew 0-0. We wanted the maximum 3 points to be 9 points on top of the table, but now there are 7 points. We keep fighting. We have 15 more points to fight for. Hopefully, at the end of the season, we will be champions.
Okay, 7 points gap. Would you still be the champions?
Yes.
Good luck, coach.
Good luck to the man, Daniel Ogumodede, who's the coach of Remo Stars, speaking after that draw at home in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Rivers United had a chance to close the gap between themselves and the Kenya-based side, but over those we saw Abia Warriors with Imama and Makbakabo step up to get the better of Rivers United and put themselves in the conversation for the title too. Abia Warriors are now third, Rivers United second, Remo Stars first, and the MPFL title race is getting more interesting at this stage.
It is getting more interesting, of course, when you look at all the action and you look at the drama. But I just feel for, Enugu Rangers losing that Oriental Derby to Heartland by 2-0. I mean, Fidelity Lechoko, defending champions, but his side, when you look at the MPFL this season, they've really not lived up to expectation. And for Remo Stars, just like we heard from Ogumodede, still confident, because you look at the fact that it's 8 points, 7 points actually. So it's still all to fight for with 5 more games to go. But Rivers United second, and you look at Enugu Rangers seventh. I don't know how they just let it slip. But Ikorodu United, shout out to them, fourth on the league table. I remember Coach Bright, they make things too bright for them, but Nuruddin Aweroro came in and he just turned the side around, and Ikorodu United right now are pushing for a place on the continent. So a shout out to them. Also to Imama Mapakabo, took over Abia Warriors, started on a shaky note. They were on the bottom half of the table. They really get his team well oiled at the beginning of the season, but now they are now third, 53 points, just 2 points behind Rivers United. So you could say it's too early to judge Finidi, but his side need to be careful because Abia Warriors are breathing down their neck. It's just 2 points, so who knows, anything can happen. But shout out again to Kano Pillars as well, coming in fifth, just 3 points behind Abia Warriors in third. So it's really, really looking like it's going to be a photo finish in the MPFL. And shout out to all the clubs who are really punching above their weight, I must say.
Did you say you pity Rivers United? Yeah. Why do you pity them? Very deadly team. Very deadly team. I don't pity. In fact, truth is that if not for a lack of proper planning and strategy at the start of the season, maybe they would have been chasing.
They would have taken advantage. They should have taken advantage.
Now, truth is that what they now did was, when Finidi realized that after the first stanza, that the crop of players he has, he needs more. Not like they were bad, but mid-season, what did they do? They brought in Emmanuel Charles, Samson Obi, and then the former Enyimba striker Chido Kemboma that left Enyimba to Libya came back and joined them. And Ekemo Okon, who used to be a starter, saw players that were better. He's now. So I think for me, what changed for Rivers United was the fact that they had to buy quality and experience in the second 45, and they're even more deadly. They're not the first half team. Most of their goals have come from the second half. They're stronger. And if there's a man that can organize a team, he has to be finished. So I don't pity them. That where they are, they're fighting. Anything can happen. And I also like what Dan Ogumudede just said. I love him. Are you going to win the title? He said yes. Do like Kamara last season, Fidelis will say they're building, but eventually they won it. So every coach and their own style. But I like the fact that he's points blank, he's straightforward with it, he knows what he's doing. We are winning the league. They need the hide, no be mind game, no be Maresca. I like it. So Rivers United are just where they want to be, and I want to see that battle again next season between Remo and River. They've done incredibly well, Rivers United.
But
so I don't pity them.
I think sacking Coach Yemi was a problem.
God bless you. One of these days, maybe we'll bring out 1 hour. I will talk about Enyimba 1 hour. Let the season just end. Make I cool down so that if they eventually do not now qualify for the continent, that's when I will now tell Lagos everything that has been happening in Enyimba. I've been keeping my record. I've been keeping calm. If Enyimba does not finish outside top 3, so long as the MPFL is concerned, it's a failure.
Remo Stars top in the table, 62 points. Rivers United second, 55. Abia Warriors third, 53. And Ikorodu City fourth, 52 points. Guys, back to Europe. Napoli are leading by 3-0 right now. They really want to trouble Inter for the title in Italy. But how about the title in Spain? Real Madrid won over the weekend, but they are still 4 points behind Barca because the two sides had identical results in their respective games, winning by 1-0 each. And at this stage, we have an idea of when El Clasico is coming through. Brownie will speak about that at Daisy, Ufoma, and Overdose in a bit after we share with you some important information.
Yeah, definitely. And the information has to do with those who fire more. Well, people hear the saying that when the desirable is not available, the available becomes desirable. Well, of course, people who fire more don't listen to that. When it comes to brandy, you also should not listen to that because you don't joke with your taste. It defines who you are. And Fire More Brandy is the brandy for those who do not settle for less. They desire more and they fire more. Fire More Brandy is for those who push boundaries, break the rules, and rewrite the script. When others fire, they fire more. Fire More Brandy is the spirit of the extraordinary, the drink of choice for those who dare for more. Made with quality ingredients and carefully selected materials, Fire More Brandy unlocks your boldness and audacity to reach for more. So join the revolution of people who will never settle for less as you grab a bottle of Fire More Brandy and raise a glass to the bold, fearless, as well as unapologetic. Fire More Brandy is flexible and can be enjoyed neat or in different kinds of cocktails. Discover your choice and go for it. Fire More Brandy is available for supplies at Niger 1 and Niger 3 Trade Fair Markets, Ojoye Market Mushin, as well as other places where good drinks are sold. Join them on a journey of more adventure across all social media platforms at firemore_brandy. That is at firemore_brandy. Not for pregnant women or persons under the age of 18. Remember, you also should drink responsibly.
Thank you so much for that information, man. I appreciate you 100%. These guys can still win a treble this season or perhaps can finish with a noble.
It is games on the beach.
It's all about the body. Kama vinga kama o, Vini Junior Vinio, Kiyamba Pemba Peo, Jude Bellingham Bellio, Aurélien Chouameni, Valverde Federico, Ada Gula Gula o, Goes Rodrigo, Alamadi, 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 Alamadi.
Well, Atletico Madrid are playing tonight. They perhaps are battling for third spot because the race for the title is firmly between two heavyweights in Real Madrid and Barcelona. Barcelona winning by 1-0 away from home against Leganes over the weekend. Real Madrid getting success despite seeing Kylian Mbappe sent off. They still enjoy that goal from Camavinga as the lone goal in the game. A 1-0 success away from home against Deportivo Alaves. Our next talking point in the show right now is not just the race for the La Liga title, but Real Madrid holistically as a team. Well, for myself, yourself, and Daisy alongside Femi Obong Daniels were together, and Femi was saying certain things about Carlo Ancelotti. He's a diehard fan of Real Madrid and all that. I know Ancelotti was linked with the Brazil job a while ago. Brownish, so we know when El Clasico is coming for a start. May I be? Yes. My lord, may I? For the sake of
you may.
Yeah. You're looking forward to that, right?
Yes, I certainly am. Okay. I'm looking forward to that now. At the start of the season, it was incredibly problematic thinking about the Clasico because, truth be told, it's never an easy game, right? And playing against Real Madrid is never easy. But we've seen problems in, the Madrid dressing room that should have been addressed a long time ago that we haven't necessarily seen being addressed. And right now, Madrid at 6s and 7s, but you see that's the difference between Real Madrid and every other club, is the fact that they tend to find ways out of these kinds of situations. While I'm not going to stay here and toot their horn because I really do feel like they've been abysmal at times when they could have and should have probably done better, I will say that you cannot count them out. They are the kind of team that can turn things like this around. Yeah. Do I think Don Carlo is the man for the next generation? Personally, if I was a Madrid fan, I would probably not say so. As a Barcelona fan, please keep him by all means. He looks like he's out of ideas. But they do have a very good squad that needs reinforcement in certain key areas. We've not seen that happen yet, but obviously transfer window isn't open and they don't have La Masia. So I think
See, they don't have La Masia. That's Barcelona.
I mean, you know what it is.
Shot fired. See, their own academy, no French like La Masia. May 11 is the date officially, really, for El Clasico Part 2 in the La Liga. May 11. Adeze Michael, when we're done with this season, should Ancelotti remain as Real Madrid boss or not?
I like to look at issues head on. Now, why have Madrid struggled this season? Why have they? That is the question. The same Ancelotti that was untouchable last season, what has changed this year? They even brought in a star power, mega superstar to help them score goals. He's done his own part. Now, Madrid are struggling because they have a lot of injury at their defense. It's easy to look away from that. There's nothing anybody. Look at just one player got injured at Manchester City. Look at how everything just was a mess for over 7 months now out of their season. One player, Rodri. Not to talk of losing Dani Carvajal. Ferland Mendy in and out. Alaba gone for a longer time. And Madrid, Rudiger have been playing half. In fact, his legs these days, I don't know. I think I was speaking with the GM and he feared that Rudiger may be out for the rest of the season if they keep playing him. It gets to a point where he burns out completely. Like it may be career threatening because of the way they've used him. So I'm not saying Lotti is free from any blame or recrimination. That's the word I'm looking for. He's not completely free, but has his job been easy this season? No. We know how very lethal Dani Carvajal is, the experience he brings. They've had to shunt Camavinga left back, Ferland Mendy. You cannot rely. So I've mentioned this. That Achilles heel this season has been the defense. And secondly, they did not replace Toni Kroos, and there are some players that cannot be replaced. But however, can you sign 2 players that can do what Toni Kroos does? Yes, they can get a tune out of 2 players. Did they do that? No. They now had to rely on Luka Modric, who is 40. Comes off the bench, changes the landscape of the game. So reinforcement, Brown said something that I agree with. Reinforcement is what they need. Now, I said something off air when we were on break. It's easy to say let Don Lotti go. Don Lotti is a perfect man manager. Now, Madrid have a lot of superstars. Jude Bellingham wants to be the face of the club. Kylian Mbappe wants to win the Ballon d'Or. Vini is on the left-hand side feeling like he owes the Brazilians Ballon d'Or. Right? These are all superstars that want to make a name, but he has successfully, even when the rumor or whether it's speculation, I'm not at Madrid, that they are fighting, that the big 3 are fighting, that are fighting for supremacy and who is going to be dominant. It wasn't up to 2 weeks. That gist was just cooled down because of the excellent man management of Lotti. You will say he's old until he leaves. We will be here again as a team to say, hey, if they say we know, we for allow him to stay. I'm not saying that he stays there forever, but let's judge critically and fairly why Madrid have struggled. Injury at that backline is as if nothing is there. All of the defenders are makeshift. So it's part of the key reasons why they're struggling. Even if they score, opponents find a way to score and even equalize and even want to outscore them. If you don't have a good defense, you can't contend for the title, you can't contend for something major. You can just navigate through finishing second and third, but if you don't have a strong defense, you're in trouble. So that is why it looks like Lotti doesn't know. Suddenly he has run out of ideas. Oh, football fans, make we the fear God. Lotti is a legend. Respect this man.
You're not going to take anything away from. He has nothing to prove to anyone. Don Carlo Ancelotti. There was a point in time in his career where I had question marks over him, but over the last 7 years or thereabout, I think he's all but answered those questions, and I'm never going to say anything wrong about him because he's done the business. Real Madrid, Chelsea, back to Real Madrid, even PSG, even went as far as going to Everton, to take that job. Fantastic player during his time, and of course, an absolutely amazing manager. But the truth about it is that even at Real Madrid last season, at a point in time, he even was on his way out. If you believe the rumors, he had agreed a deal to go coach the Brazilian national team.
Who held him back?
What changed the fortune was the fact that somehow, as Madrid always does, just when you think they are down and out, they found a way to win not just the La Liga, which is over a 7-8 month period, but they topped it by going all out and won their 15th Champions League. to a large extent, you think that there was a bit of a change of heart at that point in time. But Chuma, since you're not going to take anything away, injuries can mess your season up. And truly, like Adat noted, injuries have not been great for them. They've had to play a rookie from Castilla, Asensio, who, by the way, has been magnificent ever since, I think it was his first game. You know, he pinned one very long ball to Bellingham, and Bellingham scored. Ever since that game, you know, he's done a great job in the heart of defense. Dani Cavea has been out for the rest of the season, or since the beginning of the season, and that's why Madrid, you know, have been looking to ensure that they get a perfect replacement for him in the Liverpool right back. So defensively, they've had problems. However, Ancelotti himself and his man management, ask any Real Madrid fan, has not been great. The front four themselves have not been great, and they've not been great in the sense that they're not doing any job defensively. So all their job is, which is their primary job, yes, score the goals or get the assist. However, if you have 3-4 players who are not tracking back to help their midfield, you're going to have problem. And that midfield in the last 7 to 8 years has been dominated by Toni Kroos. He's not one that will get all the stats in terms of
goals
assists or goals, but the job that I remember having this argument with Kalela at the start of the season, and I was telling Kalela, our colleague in Port Harcourt, who's a huge Real Madrid fan, that you guys are going to suffer this season. You have not replaced Toni Kroos. That job Toni Kroos used to do, which is hold that midfield, control the midfield, and spread those passes. There's nobody in the Real Madrid midfield that can do it at this point in time. Luka Modric could do, but he's almost on the wrong side of 30. He's closer to 40 than he is 30. There's so much that his legs can't do. Tchouaméni will not do that job for you. He will do the destroying work for you, just like you saw on Tuesday last week against Arsenal. They had to take Valverde to go play right back because Lucas Vazquez is not sort of a right back. He can play against the likes of Leganes or the likes of Espanyol, but they're playing a big team in Arsenal on Tuesday, and that's why they had to take away Valverde to right back. What happens? You lose the energy you are supposed to get in the middle of the pack. So they have all that energy, but unfortunately they don't have a controller, and they've been poor defensively, and those front four have not been tracking back, and most importantly, Vinicius has been terrible in the last 4 months.
Crazy stuff. We'll hear more, including your thoughts after this quick commercial break. This is Game On with Femi and the Gang. Should Ancelotti stay or go at the end of the season? We'll find out after this one.
It's new. It's fresh. It's the H45, the all-new Heineken 45CL. The H45 bottle is designed to fit into your lifestyle. It's the same great taste. Cheers to the new Heineken 45CL. The new Heineken 45CL with the same great refreshing taste, now in a size that fits your style. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18.
You can't choose when you get sick, but you could choose an HMO that helps you live more life. Now, you could choose an HMO with generic plans or Hygieia HMO's customized plans for every stage of your life.
Now that's more like it.
You could choose an HMO with a handful of hospitals or Hygieia HMO, which has a hospital network of over 2,000 providers within Nigeria with roaming options and no waiting time.
Yeah, that's more convenient.
You could also choose a cheaper HMO that doesn't quite meet your needs. Or you could have Hygieia HMO's comprehensive yet affordable healthcare plans.
That's so amazing!
Life can be more with Hygieia HMO. Live more life with Hygieia HMO. Explore our comprehensive healthcare plans designed to meet your needs. Whether you're an individual, a family, elderly, an SME, or a corporate organization, we have affordable options for everyone. Visit our website at www.hygiehmo.com for more details. Hygieia HMO. Live more life.
Na so I did on my own. Na a message enter my phone. Fiam. I can't click am. Fiam. Na so my money for account go. Fiam. Hey, if to say na Airtel you dey use, them for first alert you before you click am. Airtel they identify spammers, then alert them customers with AI powered service to make sure say you no fall mugu for wuruwuru scam messages. No charges, no subscription needed. Me self they go join Airtel. Fiam.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
That's the sound of a snout that's reserved for legends. It's got that bold taste that matches your cool swag. Sharp vibes and one-of-a-kind style. Feel the full brewed Legend Extra Stout go down easy from the first sip to the very last drop. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly. Legend Extra Stout. Available in draft.
Pocari Sweat. My ions, please, can get enough.
99.3 Nigeria. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Winning.